You ever found yourself kind of caught in one of those sneaky routines,
Oh, yeah.
where you're just mindlessly scrolling or maybe putting off that big task you really need to tackle, or even just stuck in a thought loop that goes nowhere, and then bam, you look up and hours just vanished.
Gone.
And what hits you next? That familiar, awful wave of guilt. It's something most of us know, I think.
Definitely.
But here's what's really interesting and maybe counterintuitive. It's often not about laziness. It's not some personal feeling or lack of willpower.
That's exactly right. I think what's really fundamental here is understanding that our brains, well, they're basically wired for comfort
Right.
and efficiency.
Comfort and efficiency.
Yeah,
right.
so habits, even the ones we call bad, they form precisely because they make things feel easier, or at least familiar. They become these preferred patterns the brain defaults to. It's much less about character flaws and way more about, our basic neurobiology.
So our goal then in this deep dive is really to pull back the curtain on the mechanics behind these behaviors, these habits that feel so ingrained.
Right.
And maybe more importantly, give you a kind of shortcut to understanding not just why they happen, but the how. How you can actually gently but effectively shift them so they serve you better.
The how is key.
Okay, so let's unpack that a bit. If it's not really about laziness, if our brains are just seeking comfort, that easy path, how do these habits actually, take hold? How do they sneak up on us?
Well, they almost never start with a big flashing warning sign, do they?
No, definitely not.
They really do sneak in, little by little. Just think about it. Maybe watching just one more video than you planned,
Guilty?
or skipping a workout just this once, or maybe letting your English practice say slide for just today.
Okay, yeah. Tiny things.
Tiny, seemingly insignificant choices. But slowly, bit by bit, these tiny choices start forming patterns. Your brain isn't judging them as good or bad. It's just logging them. It's saying, oh, this is a sequence we do now.
So it's almost like you're building a path
Yeah.
without even realizing you're laying the stones down one by one.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. Think about habits like, biting your nails, or that mindless phone scrolling, or, skipping practice for something important.
Right.
They all get easier, more automatic the more you repeat them. That path just gets deeper each time. It's just like a trail in the woods. The more it's walked, the clearer and more defined it becomes.
And harder to leave.
And harder to leave. That's how habits get so strong, why they feel almost gravitational, like you're pulled towards them.
Okay, but there's good news here right now. This same principle, this path building thing, it works for forming new habits too. It's not just about getting stuck in the bad ones.
Absolutely. That's the hopeful side. You can consciously carve out new paths, new habits. It's true, the first few days of a new routine, it often feels really hard.
Yeah, definitely.
Like you said, like creating a path through thick jungle, you're really hacking away, building something new, using a lot of mental energy.
Right, it feels like effort.
It is effort. But over time, with that repetition, the way does grow smoother. The routine becomes familiar. It starts to feel less like a struggle and more like, just what you do. The friction drops dramatically.
Okay, so understanding how these paths form, these deep grooves, how do we actually start redirecting them or carving out those new, better paths without feeling like we're in this constant, exhausting fight with our own brain? Are there practical things we can do?
Yes, and this leads us to a really powerful idea. Replacement over just removal.
Replacement, okay.
Most people try to just stop a bad habit, full stop. But that often leaves this kind of void.
A gap.
Exactly. And our brains, they don't like voids. They'll naturally try to fill it, usually with the old comfortable pattern. So what's much more effective is to proactively decide what you will do instead of the old habit.
Okay. So if my default is, say, grabbing my phone and instantly opening social media, instead of just telling myself, don't open social media, I should have a plan.
Like when I pick up my phone and feel that urge to scroll, I will open my language learning app instead, even if it's just for 60 seconds. Or I'll open my notes app and write down one quick thought.
Got it.
You're essentially giving your brain a new script, a pre-planned alternative path to take right in that moment. It's about redirecting that energy, not just trying to suppress it, which is often futile.
That makes so much more sense. It feels less like a constant battle. Okay, what about those tasks that just feel huge, overwhelming to even begin, like that massive project looming or, getting out for an intense workout when you really don't feel like it.
Yeah, the big ones. For those, we can use something I like to call the 5-minute window.
The 5-minute window. Tell me more.
The whole idea is to lower the barrier to starting so much that it feels almost ridiculously easy. You just commit to doing the task for 5 minutes. That's it.
Just 5 minutes.
Just 5. And here's the key. If after those 5 minutes you genuinely want to stop, you give yourself permission to stop. No guilt. But the trick is, once you actually start, momentum often kicks in.
Right. Getting started is the hardest part.
It really is. So for that intimidating report, maybe you just open the document, you commit to just looking at it for 5 minutes. Or for that morning run you're dreading, you just put on your running shoes and step outside. Maybe walk for 5 minutes.
Okay.
The goal isn't completion in 5 minutes. It's purely initiation. Starting. That tiny initial investment is often enough to break through that inertia, that resistance, and you'll probably find yourself continuing for much longer just because you overcame the biggest hurdle simply getting started. It kind of hijacks your brain's preference for finishing things.
I like that. Using the brain's own tendencies. Okay, and what about, when we are trying to build a new habit, it's so easy to get derailed, right?
Yeah.
You miss one day or you don't do it perfectly and it feels like, I failed. Might as well give up. How do we deal with that all or nothing thinking?
Ah, yes, the perfection trap. This is where shifting your focus to celebrating streaks over chasing perfection becomes incredibly powerful.
Streaks, not perfection.
Exactly. We aim for this flawless record, and the second we slip up, which is inevitable, by the way, we often throw in the towel completely. It's so counterproductive. Instead, the focus should be on maintaining a streak of consistency, even if it's imperfect consistency. If you miss a day, it's okay. The real goal is simple. Don't miss twice in a row.
Okay, so if my goal is daily English practice and I miss Tuesday, I don't just scrap the whole week.
No, not at all. You just make absolutely sure you show up on Wednesday, even if it's just for a few minutes.
Protect the streak from becoming a total break.
Precisely. That one missed day is just a data point, a blip. The critical thing is restarting immediately. Every time you get back on track after a miss, you're actually reinforcing a much more important meta habit, the habit of showing up, of persevering. That builds resilience. It teaches your brain that one setback isn't the end of the story. Consistency, even imperfect consistency, is what truly drives long-term habit formation, not some unattainable ideal of perfection.
Wow, okay. So we've covered quite a bit today. We started by understanding that these sticky habits, they're not really about being lazy.
Right. It's the brain seeking comfort.
Yeah, comfort and efficiency. And we looked at how they sort of sneak in and deepen over time, like those trails in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got into some really practical strategies, replacing bad habits instead of just stopping them, using that clever 5-minute window just to get started.
Lowering the barrier.
Exactly. And shifting focus from trying to be perfect to just celebrating the streaks, not missing twice.
Yeah. And if we kind of zoom out and connect this to the bigger picture, it really boils down to moving away from self-blame and towards curiosity.
Curiosity. How so?
Well, instead of beating yourself up, asking, "Ugh, why did I fail again?" And you start to wonder, more neutrally, why did that old habit resurface just then?
Okay. Less judgment.
Way less judgment. That simple shift in questioning replaces the harshness with awareness. It's like, shining a light on the pattern instead of just piling on more shame. When you can genuinely observe, okay, I'm noticing a pattern here, and that means I'm actually learning something. That's incredibly supportive for growth.
That makes sense.
And this naturally leads to perhaps the deepest level of change, shifting your identity.
Yeah.
It stops being just about willpower or motivation in the moment. It becomes about what you fundamentally believe about yourself.
That's powerful. So it's not just, I want to stop procrastinating. It becomes more like, I am becoming someone who shows up, someone who follows through.
Exactly. Or for language learners, maybe not just, I wish I spoke better English, but affirming internally, I'm the kind of person who practices, even when it feels tough today.
Right. You embody it.
You embody it. Because when those core beliefs start to shift, the actions tend to follow more naturally. And then with repetition, that's how life really transforms. It's not just about doing things differently. It's about being different.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, maybe here's a thought for you, the listener, to mull over. Thinking about your own life right now, what's one small trail, one habit that you're currently deepening? Maybe consciously, maybe unconsciously.
Good question.
And if you realize that trail isn't really serving you, isn't leading where you want to go,
Yeah.
What's one small, truly nourishing replacement you could start carving into its place? Just one small thing, knowing that those little shifts, they really do compound over time into major results.
And maybe just reflect on that idea of awareness being the real starting point. It's the foundation for making a choice. Remember that awareness empowers you. It gives you options. Guilt just weighs you down and keeps you stuck.
Awareness gives choices. Guilt pulls you down. I like that.
Yeah. And just know you're probably doing better than you give yourself credit for. Be gentle with yourself through this process and just keep learning.